So Carolina, I'm admitting. Joe, I'm admitting. Hi, Joe O'Neill. Carolina, it's our Carolina, I hope.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Hi, Carolina. Carolina, are we going to see you or will you stay without an image?
I'm gonna stay with the camera off.
Okay. And I don't know if we want to give it a little bit more time. We gave this to lots of people. Oh, let's see. Another person's coming. So it's coming in slow. Bianca.
Kati. Hi, Kati.
Good evening,
Hi,
everyone.
Kati. How are you?
Kati.
I'm doing well. How about yourselves?
We're
Good.
good.
Hello, Bianca.
Where's Bianca?
Hello,
How are you, Bianca?
I'm good. Sorry, I'm taking this from the road, so I unfortunately will just leave my video off if that's okay.
That's okay.
Thank you.
We're just getting started. We're just letting people in.
Oh, great.
And we'll be starting momentarily.
Awesome.
Joe, thanks for coming after speaking with me. You came right on. We really appreciate that. And
Yeah, thanks for having me.
you're welcome. And Bianca, where are you from?
I am with Green Roots.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, so
Yep.
nice to have you here. Good.
Thank you.
We were saying, we put this out to many, many people. So, you know, some people just feel completely, I mean, MCC has done an amazing job getting this on YouTube and getting this out to lots of people. So that's maybe a compliment to Timothea and the whole gang over there, because they have worked really hard to get out the information. But
Yeah, I got this information through Timothea and also Sam Montano, who just started working at Green Roots, I think used to have something to do with mass cultural and arts grants. So
good.
great.
Let's wait about one more minute till 10 after. And then with Joe and Bianca, we'll begin. And when people come on, they'll come on in the middle of it if needed. All right, we'll keep clicking people on. And we just want to make sure, Bianca, you speak English. Joe, you're fine with English. We just have an interpreter here just in case.
Yep, English is good for me.
Okay, why don't we begin, everyone? Marlene, I'm going to have you do the opening as our chair.
Okay, thank you, B. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. I'm Marlene Jennings, Chair of the Cultural Council. I'm also very happy to be with several other members of the Cultural Council, Danielle Kim, Kati Cabral, Carolina Anzolo, and most especially happy to have Timothy Pham with us, who is a program officer for the Mass Cultural Council. And I don't want to leave out B. Cravata because she's our number one ringleader here, and she makes sure that the grease is on the wheel. So Timothea, we're so grateful for you to come tonight and answer the questions. We have a new program. Everything is done online this year. It's different than ever before. We've been blessed to be given a lot of money to share with the city of Chelsea in arts and culture this year. And we're just very happy, Bianca, that you're here, and Joe, that you're here. And also, I don't want to leave out Juliana, who is an interpreter, should someone need to have some Spanish interpreted. So with that, I'm going to thank you all again for coming, and I'm going to turn this over to Timothea and Danielle, and we'll have a little presentation, and we can also answer any questions that you might have.
Great, thanks, Marlene. Danielle, would you like me to share the presentation right now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Perfect, great. So again, my name is Timothea Pham, and I'm a program officer with the Community Initiative. Thank you so much for having me. And for this presentation that we've put together, I'm just going to be walking you all through the new grants management system. And then during the presentation, it's not too long, I'm just going to do a live demonstration of how to register if you haven't, and then just kind of go walk through the application just to give you a better feel. So this is the agenda. Again, walking through the new grants management system, just walking through the application process, guidelines for applying, and then if you all have any questions after, I could definitely answer those, or in between. So if you do have a question immediately, you can definitely just unmute yourself and ask. So this is our team at Mass Cultural who are specifically working on the Local Cultural Council program. So we have our operations director, Jen Lawless. We have our program manager, Lisa Simmons, who manages Local Cultural Councils, festivals, and cultural districts. Luis Cotto, who is our program manager for our cultural districts. And then our program officers, Mina Kim, myself, Ricardo Guillaume, and Veronica Ramirez Martel. So why a new grants management system? So we're moving all of our local cultural council work to the new system to have it streamlined with other programs at Mass Cultural Council. So I'm not sure if you all have applied to different programs that we have at the agency, but we've had them in different sites before. So this is just going to allow for more of a streamlined system, just so we have all of our grants in one place. It also allows everyone who's associated with local cultural council to have their own login. It will allow for more data collection possibilities, and it's really flexible as well. And it's just a more updated system than applying through Mass Culture as before. So the online application timeline. So the deadline is October 15th at 11:59 p.m. It's a hard deadline and we can't really necessarily be flexible with that. But for more information about, the decisions and everything, from November and December, local cultural councils are going to be holding voting meetings to review applications. Local cultural councils are also going to send denial letters to applicants who are not funded. And then there is a process where applicants can actually request reconsideration. That's going to go through an approval process through the local cultural council. And then on January 18th, 2022, councils will conclude their annual report and submit their grant decisions, and councils would then send notifications to the applicants afterwards. So right now I'm not going to go directly to the site yet, but this is the URL that you're going to go to in order to log in. And I think a huge question that most people have had throughout our experience with this new cycle is there a record for me or my organization in the new grant system? And the answer is maybe. So, the migration, we've seen a lot of organizations who have applied to other local cultural or other programs at Mass Cultural who have already transferred to the new system, but some who have only applied to local cultural councils might not be. So if you or your organization has applied directly to the Mass Cultural Council, you or your organization may be in the system our team put together this graphic just to, give you an idea of who might be in the system or who might not be. But regardless, we can go through that afterwards. So accessing the new system. So if you think you may have a record, check for it using forgot password. That's the feature first. So I'm gonna walk through it in a little bit in real time just to give you an idea. So if you do get the email after clicking forgot password, then you do. If you haven't, that means you're not in the system. And if you are pretty sure you won't have a record, just register either as an organization or an individual. So this is what the landing page looks like. Again, what I mentioned, the forgot password and new system, click register. This is what you're going to look like if you're registering as an organization. So at the top here where it says organization name, if you think that you're already in the system, try it. It should be able to auto-populate. And if you can't find it, you're going to go to this blue hyperlinked language right here, register your organization manually using this form. That's what you're going to click on. And so this is kind of just the next step after pressing that. So an organization might have multiple different contacts. So you can definitely just register as a contact for your organization, and an organization can have multiple contacts. So if you're working on this with your executive director, you're the development director, you can both be contacts for the organization. Okay, so I am going to share my other screen now. 1 second, just to walk you all through what it looks like. But I guess I'm going to pause for a second, and I just want to see if anyone has any questions so far. No? Okay. Awesome. So let's go to the landing page. So massculturalcouncil.smartsimple.com. So we're going to go register as an individual. So this is kind of what you're going to see. Optional demographics, I would highly suggest filling it out. It definitely helps us with our data collection just to see who we are reaching and who we're not. And then I'm just going to go back and register as an organization. Oh no. Okay. Well, I'm so sorry for the technical error. I think so. Something did happen today where the site might have crashed. So we might have our IT team working on it right now, but it should be up and running very soon. But I'm just going to go in and also just show you what you would see once you actually register as an individual.
Mhm.
So you fill in all the information. So I registered as an individual, a grant seeking individual. I wanted to apply to a local cultural council. So this is what you're going to see. So you see current opportunities. We can click on that just so you have an idea of what's available other than local cultural councils, artist fellowships, in different.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
yeah, and we also have our festivals, grant open. I'm not sure why it's not showing, but I'll check on that. And then, so I want to apply to the Chelsea Cultural Council. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just type in Chelsea Cultural Council. You can also just like scroll down, but for people who might be a little bit impatient, this is a quicker way to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to click on apply now. Great. And so if you've applied to a local cultural council in the past, you might be familiar with this eligibility quiz. It's something that we always require. So I'm just going to do it right now so you have a sense of what to do. So we do require arts, humanities, and sciences. That's what the projects need to be. So
Yes.
I'm going to select yes. Does it provide public benefit? Yes. And these are all in our guidelines and also your local guidelines as well. Yes. Are you applying? I'm going to say no, not applying. Does the proposed project discriminate or discourage participation on the basis of race, gender, religion, religious creed? No, it does not. Is it accessible to persons with disabilities? And this is, oh, yes. So basically, a lot of people do still have questions about this. So it's like if you're hosting a workshop in a physical space, like is it ADA accessible? That's like a big question. Or if you're doing something virtual, you might want to have, interpretation as an option, just to make it more accessible to everyone. It's going to be recorded, so more people can see it. Those are just thinking about accessibility in different mediums. So will LCC grant funds be used to purchase food or refreshments? No, that is in our guidelines. The restrictions that we have in our guidelines, so local cultural council funds can't be used to purchase food or refreshments, and they can't be used for scholarships. And this is a big one. Have you read and understood the LCC program guidelines as well as specific council priorities of the local cultural council to which you're applying to? To review them, visit your LCC's public webpage.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's like, let's go to Chelsea.
Really great. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. I don't know why it's, so find your LCC. That's what it should take you. Let's go to Chelsea. Oh, I'm already on it. Okay. Chelsea. Awesome. So, right, you have all the information there, local priorities, local guidelines, and then, it's great that you all have your own website that people could go to. So that's it. 1 second.
Can I say on our website, again, you'll be able to see a drop-down menu when you get to LCC grants, and you'll see our guidelines, 5 pages of our guidelines, like a much more expansive. So I would say to both Bianca and to Joe, if you already haven't done so, to get on to download those guidelines.
Mm-hmm. And there are people who apply to multiple local cultural councils, so definitely make sure to check the specific guidelines, because every town and city is different. So I have read them. So I'm going to click yes. And 1 second. Okay, I'm going to save draft. Right. So after, I'm going to check eligibility. I've successfully completed the eligibility quiz. So click on the proceed button to begin the application. So I'm going to click proceed. And so this is what you're going to see. This is the entire application. At any point, or even before you start, you can also click on application summary just to have like a printout or a PDF printout if you operate more in that way. I would definitely suggest writing all of these things onto a Microsoft Word document or a text edit document just so you have everything saved. Yeah, always click save draft. You don't want any of your work to be lost. So yeah, is the information displayed above for the applicant information correct? Yes. So I'm going to save draft just to save. And then just going to go to project information. So that's the next section. So amount requested, project discipline. There's many different categories. So if you have any questions about that, definitely reach out to the Chelsea Cultural Council. I'm also available to help. Project title, when will the project take place? Where will the project take place? Estimated number of people served. Estimated number, so doesn't have to be an exact figure. And does the project primarily serve school children? Yes or no? And so we're going to go to project overview. So just keep in mind that you have a character limit. So some people, sometimes they go over it and they don't realize, and that's something that could prevent them from submitting. So summarize the proposed project or program. Who is the target audience for this project? What is the cost of participation for attendees, if any? How does the proposed project provide public benefit and contribute to the cultural vitality of the community as a whole? So just to kind of expand a little bit on just the concept of public benefit. For example, if I'm an artist and I'm teaching a workshop to 10 people, the Chelsea Cultural Council might have an idea of what public benefit is, but for us, that would be that would be viable, having that workshop, as long as, you know, it was promoted to the entire community and to the public, and stuff like that. So it's always interesting just to get some questions about public benefit. And please describe the qualification of key artists, humanists, interpretive scientists, or organizations involved with the leading of the cultural component of this project. If there are any individuals or organizations that will be involved in this project as planners, partners, or collaborators, please listen below. It's always great just working with a wider variety of local cultural councils. I think that's something that people want to see, is just like, who are you going to work with? What are your community partners? Sometimes LCCs have venue requirements, which we've, you know, encouraged people to be flexible about, but those are kind of the things that people deal with. And then how are you planning to promote the project to the community and your target audience? So that's the project overview, and I'm going to go to the budget. I'm assuming there might be questions about that. So we can definitely take a look at the project budget right now. So it's different than the old application in a way that it's not listed. You can actually create your own budget by, you know, pressing this addition button. So let's say I am ballroom venue, just random, right? And whoa, sorry. $350 that it's going to be a rental for a night. I'm going to pay artists to or teachers. How about instructors salaries? Let's do 500, you know, so you get the idea, but basically the project budget encompasses all line items, including expenses that might not be reimbursable by the local cultural council.
Is there an other on there? Like, for example, I didn't see insurance.
Yeah, so
Other, please describe. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, so insurance definitely, that's something that you would be qualified to, you know, apply for funding for. No, I don't want to leave the site, so that's fine. So that's the project budget. Projected income. Please describe the other sources of projected income needed to complete this project. So this could be projected income. So yeah, if you're getting donations of other, or that's in-kind support, if applicable, please briefly describe any in-kind support you're getting for this project. That's where you would have donations. How will you adjust the project if the council cannot fund the entire amount you are requesting? That's pretty straightforward. If you have applied to other local cultural councils for funding for this project, please list the names of those councils below. That's definitely straightforward too. Yeah. So additional materials. I don't know if there's any specific requirements from the Chelsea Cultural Council for supplemental materials, but this is where you'll upload them. So they're limited to a total of 3 PDFs. And then for the acknowledgement, if you're ready to submit, you know, read this, click agree, and then press submit. And yes, did you have a question?
Timothy, yeah, just remind us, I think this was taken off several years ago, but I think it's worth talking about capital. People, before there was something about, they had applicants asking to buy something like a capital improvement, like whether it was, they wanted to buy a certain type of equipment or something. And then I think there was a maximum of $500 or something that you could do that. What has happened? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and it was removed before I got there, so we don't.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can apply for that.
Okay.
Yeah, and something we did add last year because of COVID, we saw a lot of organizations needing operational support. That's something we allow as well, operational support. So whatever the organization defines as operational support, that's something that you could apply for as well.
Oh, it's very generous. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna go back to the presentation, I think, just because I have a couple more slides. Yeah, so basically what I didn't say was once you've submitted, you're gonna have like a pop-up that says congratulations in blue. So definitely save a copy of your application for future reference. If you can't find it for any reason, you can always email the Cultural Council or me directly, and I could just send you another copy of it. But if you don't see it, you haven't submitted it successfully. So definitely go back and see if your pop-up blockers are disabled. But that's basically it. And then here's a link also in the presentation that I've sent to the Chelsea Cultural Council. There's an application example. And then these are useful links. We have FAQs for applicants. So when we did the webinar, when it first opened, we had a number of new different questions. So that's all added on that link. So we have our LCC guidelines and then what we define as local priorities as well. Yeah, and here's some tips. Start early and do your research. I know it's a little bit later, but you still have, I think, a plenty amount of time to do it. And then reach out to potential partners and host venues as early as possible to ensure you have time to work together, create a realistic budget, and then address your issues proactively. Again, we were talking about ADA accessibilities. Yeah, and then communication is always great. I'm going to put my email in the chat directly. So if you also have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. And if you have any questions about other grant opportunities we have, I'll be able to answer those as well.
You know, I want to say to Joe and Bianca, of all the years I'm doing it, it is so important to do your homework and to get estimates and see how much what will really cost you. Some people will come to us and say, well, I want 5,000, so I'm going to ask for 8,000 or 10,000. Like they're just going overboard. Or we've had people who have asked for money and then find out that they really, whatever they wanted, it was, I think years ago at Chelsea High School, they wanted to put an art book together. And then they asked for a certain amount of money that was given. And then they came back and said, oh, we don't need to use it. We got this, we found out that we could have gotten it for free. So just please do your homework, because even though you're very generous, the state of what we received, we still have many people. Sometimes we get 20, 25, 30, 35 grants. And we want to make sure that people are all getting, a bit of the wealth here. So please do your homework on estimates.
Mm-hmm.
And ask for what you really need.
Right. But that's basically it. That's all I have for this presentation. Again, you'll receive a copy of it, I'm sure. And that's it.
Timothy, I have another question to you about part of what we do too with the city council is they're asking that we have hard copies. So, our residents don't always have online capability, and they want to be able to do it hard. So we provide hard copies, and that's on our website right now. Are we inputting that in?
Yeah,
We are inputting that in, like all the pages of what they're saying, or do we as a PDF or scan it in, or how do we go about doing that on this new site?
So do you have an estimate of how many applications are in paper?
I have probably 2 right now.
Okay, so yeah, so there's no way of scanning it at the moment. It's just manually inputting the information like you would have in the previous system.
Okay.
And I can definitely help you out with that if you need. But yeah, just registering them online and just creating the application itself.
Okay.
Yeah, but we see a number of that of other local cultural councils who also accept it.
And we're asking people who are doing it by hand, we still want it postmarked. What we don't want happen is that they're putting it under my door, they're putting it down at the Williams, they're putting it to mailboxes. We didn't get that clear on our guidelines, and we just placed it in about maybe just a week ago, so we're being a little bit more, liberal to it. But years ago, that was a nightmare. They were being thrown all over the place, and they weren't coming in with and then we didn't even know if by chance it came in. That was a decade or more ago, but I want to make sure that our cultural council members know that we need this postmarked if it's coming in by hand.
Yes, Marlene?
Yeah, just a sort of a technical question. When you're filling out the application online and you save it, can you sort of go back at another time and finish it, like log out and then go back to finish it?
Absolutely. So
Okay.
again, every page that you complete, save draft, just make it a habit. And then again, as a security measure, I would encourage just having your answers on a text edit document, just in case. You never know what happens. But yeah, so you can definitely log out and then log back in.
I have another question about attachments. Was there attachments on there that you could put attachments like a resume or? So when that goes to the panel book and then we print the panel book, does all of those attachments come with that panel book? Or do we have to download those attachments?
So it automatically generates into that panel book.
Wow, okay, good. I'm glad because that's a great one to have. Good.
And this year, instead of us manually generating the panel books, that's kind of what we had one of our other departments do. You can just log in right after the applications close, and then you can download the panel book yourself by logging in.
Okay.
And I'll send email instructions to all local cultural council members on how to do that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joe, Bianca? Anything that you have, any thoughts or your projects that you're thinking of?
Yeah, so I, can you hear me all right? I've been a little spotty recently, I noticed.
Yes.
Okay, so the project that I am looking to apply for is the culmination of a research project that we had residents and Green Roots members lead with a BU research team of environmental health. And what we have is about 40 to 60 photos and captions taken by residents about their experience with heat in Chelsea during the summer. And there are these kind of really incredible photos and very profound captions that the residents have reflected upon how heat has affected them and their lives and their families and their experience with it in Chelsea. And we would love to create some sort of art display, photo display, I guess, series around Chelsea. So we're looking to basically get the funds to get the materials and weatherproof display materials to have in different parks and like city council and maybe at the poetry walk, like different places around Chelsea that we could display these photos and captions and engage the community in talking about extreme heat in Chelsea. So that's pretty much going to be what I'm looking to apply for. I did have a question about the budget. I know you said you wanted something really specific. Would it be appropriate to attach like a budget Excel sheet, for example, for materials that we're requesting in the application?
E, what would you suggest? We don't have any like specific requirements or anything, so we always leave it up to the local cultural council.
Yeah, I think again, from past history, is that as much as you can give to this council to read it over, to look at it, and that council members, please, tell us what you want. But talking for your predecessors, they just wanted to see that people did their homework instead of just saying, I want this amount of money and not really being specific. We have 40,000 people in the city. It's very, very tiny, and it's a need for a lot of different areas of arts and sciences and humanities. And we want to make sure that the wealth is spread accordingly and rightly. So just give us as much as you can. The more homework you do, the council members can see and feel safe about giving that money. Am I right to the council members? You feel confident that it's going to be used well. I think that's very, very important.
So you're talking, Bianca, are you talking about a financial spreadsheet for your budget? Is that what you're referring to?
Right, but just for the project specifically. So like a financial spreadsheet of, you know, photo printing materials, like a budget for this project specifically.
So this would be more elaborate than what the online application is asking of you?
Pretty much,
Because
yes, exactly.
it is.
Like,
Okay, so I would
yes.
fill that out as much as you can online, and then you can add the spreadsheet in addition to that. But the more you can get online on the application, the better.
Definitely. My other question would be, since this was a research project in conjunction with BU, would this count more under the sciences category, or since it's an art and photography display, would it be under arts and or culture? I was curious if you had any guidance along those lines.
I'd have to read it. I'd read a really the application. I mean, I think that you guys use your best judgment on that
Okay.
and decide on your best judgment. You know, Bianca, I was looking to Marlene. There's years ago, there was one group, I don't know which it was, whether it was Green Roots, another organization within the city, but they were able to get electronic devices and photos and things that they had. I don't remember the project, but I remember that they weren't, that one of the deals with them, they needed to be presented, displayed. Marlene, am I right? Am I right in what I'm talking about? But it never happened.
Right.
So we're just important to be able, I mean, the cultural council, when the benefit to the community is so important. So if you're going to have that show and that display, to be able to get it out to the community that this is happening and that it does happen, because it also jeopardizes future funding. And this is direct funding now. We're very fortunate that the MCC has allowed this. And this was controversial. I don't know if Timothy, you were there. We didn't know where we were going to do this or not, you know. And the direct funding has really helped us a lot, at least financially here. It's been a relief. But you know, if you had 40 people that have applied or they got their grantees, and to get all those receipts, it was overwhelming. So, but we want, with that direct money, to the funding, to make sure that it's spent accordingly and well. So if you're going to display something, kind of really think through how to do that.
And to add to that, it's far more important to the cultural
Thank you
council.
for that. I agree that oh, so sorry, I was behind.
Go ahead, Bianca. Go ahead, hon.
I just wanted to say that I appreciate you mentioning that, and I think that that's really important to both Green Roots and on the end, in that we've, you know, completed this research project. The residents, there are 10 residents that were a part of this project, and it's really important to them as members of Chelsea that their voices are heard and the effort that they put into this photo project. So I completely understand that it's really important to actually implement the project funding that we receive and use it towards the community. And I think that that's a really important component. So I thank you for emphasizing that. And I just wanted to say that I completely agree.
And I just wanted to share with you that from the Cultural Council's point of view, it's great to have a detailed budget, but it's far more important for you to have solid places where you're going to present your program or your art exhibit. You know, we've gotten into trouble in the past where we haven't had, someone's going to do a book and we don't know where they're going to have it. It delays the process. So it's really good if you could nail down the locations of where you're going to present this, whether it's going to be at the library or if it's going to be at, you know,
that's really good advice, actually. Thank you so much. I was curious about whether you guys wanted us to have that really solidified in advance. So thank you. I'll reach out to the city for that.
It's part of your homework. Awesome. People say, I'm going to do a mural somewhere, and they'll just get a letter. Well, I really read our guidelines. It's asking for partnerships. It's asking to, you know, make sure if you're going to do something here that you understand our city. Our partnerships organizations mean you're understanding who is the part of the players in the city. And we can help you with that, or anyone who wants to, in order to be able to do something. I remember years ago when I first came here to Chelsea, the Chelsea Public Schools brought me in to speak with me, saying that there were cultural council grantees that were either awarded funds, and then there was like several projects that they were awarded to do at the high school, but the high school never knew about it. And so the high school has a really specific, curriculum and a schedule. And all of a sudden they're showing up and saying, look, I got all this money and I'm now supposed to do something at your school. So the superintendent said to me, B, it's like somebody not telling me that they're going to have something in my house. And they all show up and knock on my door and say, I'm about to have these 4 events in your house. So we immediately said, yep, that's really true. You can't do that. We have to respect and understand these organizations. Like you can't say, I'm going to be at the library, then show up and say to the library director, hey, I'm supposed to be here for 6 weeks doing this certain project. So it's just, again, a lot of it's common sense, but when in this busy world right now, you need help, and we want you to do these projects. So there is no group that wants art, culture, humanities, and sciences than Chelsea. We need it, we love it, and we want to help you. So talk with us as much as possible when you can.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
So if you want to do your project, say at the library, you just need a very brief letter from the head of the library saying that she is partnering with you, giving you permission, and the dates that you're going to present in your project. And that's basically all you need. We just need something in writing, as opposed to so-and-so said we could have it here. We need it in writing.
And the same thing with the display. If you're going to display something, instead of saying, we'll display it, we'll find that out as we go. Already look at Spencer Lofts. Go and find out where this is going to happen. Try your best to set this up. And the more that you do this, it's just we know things might change and there might be modifications. It happens all the time. It's life. But the more you can clearly know how you're going to proceed with this, I think, again, it's easier for everyone and it's more successful.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate all that advice.
Joe, are you okay?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. So I've been talking with our executive director and director of advancement, because while we do serve Chelsea kids, we're concerned about meeting the piece of the guidelines where you interested in projects that are open to like the wider Chelsea public. Because our project in mind for this year, and we're not sure if this is the year to apply, but would just be to fund the kids who go through our program at ZooMix in East Boston. So yeah, I was wondering if you could kind of weigh in on whether you think that would be an eligible project, or if we should be considering something bigger with the Chelsea community for next year.
I want the cultural council members to chime in on this. I see this, there's some ways I'm looking at this like a field trip. I'm seeing people go to your site, and you said 7% of your population are from Chelsea. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, and they're learning so much, and ZooMix is amazing. If you could also look at kind of bringing them, I see field trips then coming back, the kids and the classes and people coming back here and sharing their knowledge with the general community. So I just think something like that. But I still am, I'm not the cultural council, though I look to the group and counselors to let us, their opinion on that.
My gut reaction there is I'm not sure it would be the most appealing proposal to fund the work that you're already ZooMix is doing is phenomenal. But in terms of a novel and really interesting, meaningful project that's new from what's already happening, perhaps that wouldn't be the most compelling proposal. But building on what Bea was saying, it could be that they come back to the community and do a live performance here or something like that. So the Chelsea youth that participate in the program then do some kind of display of what they've been learning. We've also seen proposals where organizations will provide special programming during like vacation weeks or like certain periods of time that they otherwise wouldn't be in programming. So that could be something that you think about as well.
I'm also just going to echo that because the population of Chelsea residents is only 7%. I'd be curious to hear how you may tie back some of the projects that you're doing back here in the community. whether it be, some sort of show or afterwards or some sort of reflection, or I'd be curious to hear what plan you have to encourage more Chelsea residents to, um, to engage in the work that you're doing. So somehow tying it back to the Chelsea community, since it is based in East Boston.
Joe, we have a phenomenal school that was just built, the Clark Avenue Middle School. It has, I think I said to you, I have been told by multiple administrators, it's about $1 million sound system, a stage. I mean, it was built for the performing arts. So, again, we're so close, but if there's any way to be able to bring some of this, and I know that you have a lot of equipment and it's real important to do it in your own site, but how anything could be translated a little bit, you're going to get more notoriety about ZoomX if it comes, you not just take those 7 kids, but you get or 7% and do it a little bit more here, projects, kind of think creatively about it. So, and the school, we could take you for a tour. If you could see this school and what it has for performing arts, and that's what it was built for, 2 major music rooms. And I have been so proud to be here in Chelsea because of the school system's dedication to the arts, music. And when budgets were being cut, they'd never cut that. They kept taking care of art and music departments. And so please, if you would like, we would like for you to come over, or any of your constituents to see this school. And you might be very impressed with the instruments and things that are there.
Yeah, we would certainly love that opportunity. Yeah, and so my gut feeling at this point is that we should go back to the drawing board and think for next year how we could really bring what we're doing at ZoomX to Chelsea, whether it's you say it was the Lawrence Adams, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting.
The Clark Avenue School.
Clark Avenue School. Yeah, whether it was there or at another venue in Chelsea. And apply with a proposal that details that.
And you still have a little time. Some of the most creative things happen, we still have a little time. We love ZoomX. When we look at the Chelsea Cultural Council or the Massachusetts Cultural Council, again, it's how you benefit the community. And if you were to just pay the tuition or whatever it is for just fund the 4 people or 5 people over there, it's not bringing back to the greater masses here. And and however, if you can think of ways to still be able to support them, but have information, have some type of events over here that music is lacking here in a much more organized fashion or in a much more consistent fashion. And we would love ZoomX to be a part of that and to guide us with it.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Okay. Anyone else? We're so glad you came. I'm so, again, I mean, maybe the positive part is that people felt like it's to salute the MCC, that you've done a lot of outreach online. And so we'll just continue. And Timothy, again, I'm always proud to say that of the 50 states of the United States, this is the only state that 329 cultural towns and cities are given money for the arts. Just astounding that is happening here. And right behind it are all of you guys. You're the engine to the programming. And thank you very, very much for your dedication. We appreciate it.
I second that.
Well, thank you. It was a pleasure. It's always such an honor to be working with the Chelsea Cultural Council. So thank you.
You're quite welcome. Thank you. And Danielle, Kim, I can't thank you enough too. And Kati and Carolina, and we're missing some people too. We're missing Dakia, right? We have Dakia that we're missing as well. So, and he's phenomenal as well. And Omar Miranda, he's also my partner in crime, the 2 of us. He's on vacation right now. So again, we have a lovely group here, a really wonderful group, and we appreciate everybody. So thank you.
And Juliana, thank you for being here tonight too.
Oh, Juliana, thank you.
You're welcome.
You know,
Thank you. Thank
we
you.
learned from you, Juliana. We'll look tonight at, you know, I'll find out how to do these links here. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay. All right, everybody.
Thank
so
you.
much
Good
again,
night.
Timothea.
Yeah.
Thank you, members, Cultural Council. Joe, it was very
Thank
nice
you.
to meet you.
Likewise.
Bianca, we look forward to meeting you in person at some point, and best wishes to you. And
Thank you so much. You all as well. I appreciate it.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Take
Good night.
care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night. Take care.
Bye. Thank